On behalf of the flight crew, thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant day.
The goal of this program was to allow us to take what we learned in this class and other classes as well and apply that to real-world settings.
Costa Rica is home to 6% of the world's natural biodiversity and the size of West Virginia. We were able to see animals that we don't get to normally see around here.
It allowed us to learn about brand new ecosystems and all the flora and fauna that live within them. And another thing that this program did was it allowed us to get so many new experiences.
Plus, we didn't have any cell service or very limited Wi-Fi connection, so we were able to fully disconnect for 10 days and just experience the world around us.
Just before we went to Costa Rica, we'd finished this book in conservation biology called Biophilia. And in one of the chapters, the author extensively talks about leafcutter ants and how intricate their whole life is. We get to Costa Rica, and maybe the second or third night there, we literally stumble across leafcutter ants going across our path. And I think everyone just lost their mind, because here's this little insect that we just learned about, and there's thousands of these things going across the path.
Look at it, look at it, look at it. It's huge. We went to two main places while there. One was Tortugues de Parque, which is a sea turtle conservation place.
There we helped the project alongside other volunteers build turtle hatcheries, and at night we did turtle patrols down the beach to look for any turtles coming up to nest.
We were tasked with digging a pit that was 10 feet by 20 feet and 6 feet deep. This way we were aerating the sand when we sifted it through a sifter, as well as we're removing any debris like sticks and rocks.
Just so when turtles would hatch from their egg, they wouldn't be affected by any of this debris, and they'd have a safe area to travel.
At night at the turtle facility, groups of us would go out and patrol the beaches, looking for turtles that were nesting, as well as our presence was deterring predators.
While we weren't doing that, we were busy exploring the surrounding forests, where we were able to see organisms I thought I would never get the chance to see. Then, for the rest of the week, we drove all the way across the beautiful country to Natua Wildlife Sanctuary. There, alongside the other volunteers, we helped the staff take care of the animals there. I was mostly working with the sloths and the tamanduas, which is a type of anteater, but I was also able to work with the macaws there, which is what the sanctuary is really known for.
I got to work with scarlet macaws and blue and gold macaws. So we'd prep the diet and put in enrichment.
I got to see that aspect of the husbandry side and education and teaching people that about conservation.
At Natua especially, we were exposed to how easy it is to be conservation minded. Everything at the sanctuary had a bigger purpose and gave back to nature. There was very little that wasn't reused, repurposed, or recycled there. This trip really solidified so many aspects that I've learned through my academic career. When we visited Playa Blanca, there were tide pools that we were able to find animals that we literally studied in our zoology class on campus. We saw brittle stars, nudibranchs, mantis shrimps, hermit crabs, octopuses. It was literally a biologist's dream come true.
International trips like this are so important to show us that there's just so much more in the world to experience and learn about.
I feel like this was just so important to me because I got to also see how they were living sustainably, which is one of the big aspects of how I want to live in the future. So to see that and to see it in action was really neat for me. And it was just a really cool experience altogether.
While traveling from place to place, we stopped at roadside diners as well as a beach that had dessert stands. Another thing that was really different was that we were able to visit the Caribbean coast and the Pacific coast in the same day, within 6 hours of each other. That's not something you can do in the United States without a plane ride or 3 days worth of travel by car.
Being able to see those two aspects of the husbandry and conservation, it just helps me to know, understand what I want to do in the future and I'm in the right track.
Sometimes in conservation we can feel discouraged, but this trip really showed me that we are not alone in our efforts, and there's people from all over the world doing their best to save all sorts of organisms.
It just helped me realize like there's so much out there to do with my major, and I can go so many different routes with it, and this showed another side of a job I could go get or where I could go to help out and help the animals.
I think the trip kind of had an impact on my whole school career because I think it gave me a new perspective, a new outlook on how to see things. And when we actually got to be in the lesson instead of just sitting at a desk and learning about stuff, the whole trip was the lesson.